Hey guys, welcome to Heat, Happy Energy, Amor Tarot. This reading is for those who showed up with sincerity, consistency, hope, and you were taken for granted. You kept investing here, you kept doing things. We're not here to blame you or ask why you stayed. The heart wants what it wants. But we are going to understand the patterns here, which may give us some clarity about what is it that we need to focus on. Um, the patterns about the promises that were made, the stability that was talked about, and the imbalance that quietly formed here. So if you have trusted someone and this person has betrayed your trust again and again and you kept forgiving and you start questioning yourself that what am I doing, what did I do, I'm such a fool. No, I don't think so. I think it's just a pattern that we need to understand. Now before we start, we have King of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, and Ten of Pentacles showing up here. See, all these three together, they tell me it wasn't casual. It was not something that you were just imagining, visualizing. There was long term stability, commitment, a real future, which was either offered or promised, implied, or strongly felt here. It would be different for different people here. So, if this experience affected you deeply, it is because you weren't investing in fantasy. You were responding to something that genuinely looked solid. Now we have Queen of Swords, the first energy. See, Queen of Swords shows the moment you began listening to your inner truth instead of explanations that didn't quite, sit right with what was happening. So actions and words weren't matching here. And you became more aware and more discerning because you started looking it from, a higher ground here, like from an elevated place rather than um, this chaos here. You got up there and, started looking at it clearly. And you were more honest with yourself about what you were experiencing. See, this card often appears when someone has already given too many chances. Queen of Swords is an energy who has been through a lot and is quietly saying, I need truth now, not reassurance. So, this wasn't emotional shutdown, it was emotional maturity. You were learning that clarity is not cruelty, clarity is something that is the foundation of anything that you build. And you were just protecting your peace. That doesn't make you heartless. Now, Four of Wands. This is the stability that was spoken about. See, Four of Wands represents safety, belonging, and feeling that something is being built together. It's like a home, a castle. You see these two characters here. So something being built together. This could have shown up as shared plans, future talks, marriage, emotional reassurance, or actions that made you feel included or secure in some way. This is saying you were given enough reason to believe that it was real. You were made to feel like you have this person, this connection. It's all real. It was solid, it was built brick by brick. You didn't assume stability out of nowhere. It was presented to you, feeling safe, and it wasn't naive. It was a natural response to what was being offered to you, basically. We have Ten of Cups. The emotional future you believed in. You believed in this. You believed in togetherness. You believed in the emotions. You believed in those looking at the sunsets and the sunrises together. The emotional fulfillment, the shared happiness is what Ten of Cups is all about. And the hope of a genuine, loving connection. You weren't chasing perfection. You were believing in emotional honesty, the warmth, the love, the mutual care. Ten of Cups is where your heart was open because love felt possible. not because you were, you know, ignoring reality. You were very much grounded. Your hope came from sincerity, not fantasy. See, you believed in love because love was what was, you know, what you were willing to give. So, because you were giving so much love, is why you believed in it. Now, if this is resonating with you, do subscribe to the channel. Now, 10 of Pentacles. And, coincidentally, 10 of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, and King of Pentacles, all three are like one after the other. Now, 10 of Pentacles goes beyond emotions. And see, we have 10 of Cups and 10 of Pentacles. So you definitely were at least made to feel this is like, this is it for me from this other person. So it goes beyond emotions. It is about permanence, legacy, long-term potential. This is about family security. It is, building lives together. It's not just emotions. You are building something in real life with someone. So this tells me you were thinking ahead, imagining something that could last, something grounded, dependable. This is why the disappointment ran deep, because that is what you were shown, that is what you were promised, that was the conversation all about. Because the investment wasn't temporary, it was this long-term potential, long-term investment. You weren't emotionally attached without thought. You were intentional, future oriented, grounded in whatever you were building towards. So um, that's why the disappointment is as big here. Now we have Queen of Pentacles. See, what you gave is consistency. The Queen of Pentacles is a nurturing energy. It is steady, it's reliable. Um, you gave patience, emotional safety. You brought practical support without constantly asking for any proof for reassurance. Now, you showed up in quite consistent ways, and possibly that's why this other person took everything for granted, that you will keep doing it, you will keep giving in. You were holding space, making things easier, and choosing to care for this other person while it wasn't being reciprocated the same way, at least. You gave from a place of maturity and generosity. That kind of love is often powerful and grounded, but sadly taken for granted. But again, that is not your fault. It doesn't show, the shame is not on you. The shame is on that person who took kindness for granted. Now we have King of Pentacles. See, King of Pentacles represents responsibility, follow through, emotional consistency in action. This is not words, this is action. Um, this speaks more about potential than reality in this particular situation that we are asking. Um, See, someone who could have been solid but didn't consistently live up to that role. They could have offered you what they promised, they could have worked towards it, but they did not even take a step towards it. Stability was talked about, even symbolized, but not always upheld through actions. The imbalance here wasn't about effort, it was about someone not fully stepping into that role, that responsibility they implied they were ready for. So, again, making promises, saying I'm ready for it and I'm willing to do it, but not doing it when the time comes. Now we have Page of Cups. See, Page of Cups is emotional openness, the heart that kept believing. That's your heart here. Forgiveness, willingness to see the best in someone is what you kept doing. Even after disappointment, you stayed gentle, hopeful, emotionally available, being things um, that this person wanted or needed, believing things could still change. And trust me, that is not weakness. That is purity of intention and a heart that that is still willing to make it work, still soft, still gentle. You didn't keep believing because you were naive. You did it because your heart was real, it was sincere, your intentions were pure. And your heart was capable of love without manipulation, which this other person possibly kept doing here. See, giving someone the benefit of doubt was not your mistake. Forgiving was not your fault. Trusting what was promised, especially when you were consistent, you were coming from a place of sincerity and purity, was not your weakness. What happened here wasn't because you trusted too much. It happened because someone chose to take forgiveness for granted. Someone chose to take um, you giving them more chances for granted, your goodness and your patience for granted. See, you were honest, you were real, your intentions were pure, you were loyal. And when someone manipulates sincerity instead of matching it, relies on forgiveness time and again, instead of taking accountability, keeps promising without showing up, that that reflects their character. So the shame belongs to them here. Just because you gave them so many chances does not mean that um, you should be ashamed of not understanding what they were doing. Maybe you even understood, but that hope, that faith, that belief that you had that things can change, it was your good heart. Somebody manipulating it is not your fault. So the shame does not belong to you. Shame belongs to this person because they showed their character. It stays with this person who knew your heart was genuine, your intentions were pure, and still chose you know, convenience over integrity. So you don't leave this experience weaker. You leave it clearer. With this Queen of Swords, you are leaving this with boundaries, not bitterness, with discernment, not fear, and with this quiet confidence that your heart was never a problem, and let that truth stay with you.